It affects everyone differently, and it's everyone's point of view. It's more than a talk show. It's a reality check. It's Reality Check with Monica Zukas.
Good evening. Another Friday night is upon us. First of all, please excuse my voice this evening. You know, Southern Illinois weather has kind of got me under the weather a little bit. So tonight I have with me Jack and Becky Morton. They are the owners of Unique Inc., and they are fascinating people. They're good people. I love these people. And, you know, we're going to start out talking about tattoos and that whole world and the myths and things to go along with it. But we really are going to be, like, all over the board tonight. As most of you know, there was a horrible incident today. A guy busted in an elementary school in Connecticut and killed tons of children and adults. And I have a 9-year-old. I have an 18-year-old. And, you know, I'm going about my daily business. And then I hear, you know, breaking on the news on the TV is somebody is busted in an elementary school and shot him up. And there's so many 5 to 10-year-olds dead. And he was a familiar face at the school, so they let him in because his mother was a kindergarten teacher there. I'm not sure about the details because it's still, the information's pouring in, but it's like the first thing that went through my mind, and some people may agree with me, some people may disagree, but it was like, what prescription meds was this guy on? Because in this day and age, the United States is seriously a messed up place to be for so many reasons, and overprescription by doctors is one of the main things. It's not even like cocaine and heroin and street drugs anymore. So many people are legally whacked out on so much, it's disgusting. And we are going to go through so many different topics tonight. And like I was telling Jack before we got on the air, whenever I was announcing what we were talking about tonight, I had a picture of Jack up and posted it and was like, hey, tonight on Reality Check, we're talking about ink. Crickets. When they saw the picture of Jack, because so many people are the first to say, I'm not stereotypical, I'm not racist, I'm not biased. But whenever they see a picture of this white guy completely tattooed head to toe with big gauges in his ears and pierced up and down, they assume things. And they make assumptions on things. And they're completely, totally wrong. This is one of the most intelligent, nice guys I've ever met. And like I say, what are we, Mythbusters this evening? But I want to start by saying, okay, so you guys are married. You guys own a tattoo shop in town. How did this all come about? Are you guys born and raised in Marion? How did you guys meet? Like, how did you guys come to Marion with Unique Inc.?
We're from Iowa, actually, and we were working for other people there, but it wasn't the best situation, so our friends that had moved here from Chicago were like, well, why don't you move here? There's not even a legitimate tattoo shop, which there wasn't at the time, so, yeah.
Here we come.
Here we are.
We've been here
10 years
now.
Where does time go?
Out the window.
Well, when you're busy and you're doing the right things, it's just, it goes by very quickly. And so it's just kind of one of those things. You just lose track of time.
And like I say, I'm the first one to say, I am not racist. I'm not, I don't stereotype people. I'm not whatever. But I have to admit, when I'm with my kids, out during the summer and I see somebody like with a bunch of different tats, this, that, and the other, or some horrible ones. Because
Right.
I've seen beautiful work from you guys, but I've seen some what? And it's not even prison work. It's just like, who got a hold of you?
It's just about, right now the problem with the tattoo world is people are getting tattooed for all the wrong reasons. And tattooing for the wrong reasons. It's now become the cool thing to do. It's really not even about art. It's not even about any of that process, which is really sad. It's a very ancient, beautiful thing and being mishandled and misused in all the wrong processes. And so now it's just become this cliquey, cool kind of thing to do. And, it's really sad. And unfortunately, tattooing, the art of tattooing, and that is definitely going down a very sad road, especially with TV, portraying it all in the wrong fashions.
Okay, let's start in right with that. A lot of people, either have tattoos or their children, just like my grandmother's 87. So to her, tattoo, you're marring your body. You're scarring your body. How could you? How could you? It's a permanent mark that you can never get rid of. But it seems like as generations go down or people get younger, they say, it's not that big of a deal. If you want to artistically express yourself, express yourself. Whether it's a hairdo or some ink on you or a piercing or something, go ahead and do it. But when I was 18, because I was 18, I decided I'm going to get a tattoo.
Because I can.
Because I can. I don't care what my mom says.
Yep.
So I went into, at that time, in like 1994, it was Golgotha Tattoo in Carbondale.
And Darren works for us that owns Golgotha. He's a great, amazing
And he
guy.
actually was one that did my tattoo. I went in there and I said, through a book, and I go, oh, look, this is the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon will always be relevant. Give it to me on my sternum. And he's like, are you sure? And yeah, so I did that. And then I went back almost a year to the day and got, now this is very unique. I got my name on my back. The quintessential, what
it's
they
better
call
your
now.
name than somebody
The
else's.
tramp
Yes,
stamp?
it's called a tramp stamp. Who knew? And until I had my son, I really didn't think much of it because once you have them and they've been on you so long, it's like looking at your hair, looking at your ears or your fingers. It's just part of your body.
It becomes part of
And when
you.
my little boy said, Mama, how come you have your name right there? And I was like, well, I just, that's kind of, and he's like, can you wash that off? And I thought, gosh, that wasn't really the best choice. That's just really not something I want with me for the rest of my life. So I picked up the phone. Well, I asked around and somebody said, call Jack Morton. Don't go to Carbondale. Don't go anywhere else because you will get maimed like we did. Call Jack, give him a buzz, and get it removed. So for people that are 18 and get one because they can, let's talk just a second about the removal process. Because I was so thrilled that Jack was so honest and he was like, listen, this isn't fun, this is expensive, and this hurts extremely bad. It's a process. So if you're not ready for it, don't even try it because it's not fun. Explain to people, little 18-year-old girls and boys that are just saying, maybe I want to do this because I want to make my mom and dad mad, the removal process. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, you're using a machine that delivers basically heat to the ink molecules, and then we're expanding the molecules. We're making them larger to allow the body to be tricked into believing that now it's something it can deal with and remove. Because actually, really, honestly...
So it's not burning the ink?
No, there's no burning of the
because
flesh.
it smells like your flesh is burning.
Well, that's not what you're smelling. What you're smelling is hair. And people are like, I'm not hairy. No. You got hairs on there that you'll never see, but that laser will pick it up. And then there's some heat there, so it's going to kind of hammer on that hair a little bit. It'll grow back. It won't go away permanently. But the reason for the hurting process of lasering is that expansion of the ink molecules, and it's very important that they expand because the body is actually, the laser does not do tattoo removal. It's physically impossible.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
What does the tattoo removal is the human body. And
We're so fascinating. The human body is a fascinating machine.
It's a machine that can do a lot. If you give it a nice, clean, physical, clean area to do its business, it will take care of business. But unfortunately, most people in this day and age don't really understand soap and water.
When you get a tattoo put on, some people say, ooh, and I do find, and I'm not being biased toward females or males, females are just tougher than males.
That's not true.
No, we're
Becky,
naturally set up to be
I'll
better with
we
pain.
bear
any
children.
female out there.
No, listen, we bear children.
That doesn't have nothing to do with it. Lasering hurts way more. You know how many women I've lasered that have given birth to kids and said, I'd rather give birth?
Oh, I've said it. I said it myself. I said I would rather
And
give
you're talking
birth
to an
triplets.
extensive lasered guy right here.
You're
Heavily
one
lasered.
person, though, and there's always an exception to the rule.
There's a few other guys out there.
Sorry.
But in general, now remember,
Women always like
they
to
are
say
husband and
that.
wife. They're tit for tat here. But the laser removal process, and I knew when I was 18 and I got this tattoo on, at that point in time, I didn't know exactly the expense of it or the extent of the pain, but I knew I'm not chopping my arm off. I'm not severing off a limb that I cannot grow back. I know that there's a procedure to get this off. I don't know if someday I'll want it off, but if I do, I know it can get off.
And that's the horriblest, and that's a part of the attitude with tattooing. Oh, if I don't like it, I'll just get rid of it. That is the worst mentality of getting tattooed, and I hear that so much, and it's just so sad that, oh, if I don't like it, I can just get it removed later.
Well, and that was my mentality because I thought my mom and dad are going to be pissed. I'm cool, but maybe I won't like this in 5 years, so either I'm going to have to get something bigger and better.
That's exactly why you don't like it, because you knew right off the get you weren't even sure.
Right.
Because I was trying to be cute.
Yep.
And it failed.
And it failed. And now you pay the price.
Well, and one of the myths is that oh my gosh, that darn tattoo parlor. My 18-year-old can just go in there and they'll do anything, whatever. And one of the things I found interesting when I started talking to Becky and Jack is they try to talk people out of things a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot.
So, like, give me an example of somebody that comes in and you're like, look, this just is not
Well,
a
I'll
good
give you
idea.
a scenario.
You're not just about the money,
No.
saying, you want that? I don't care if it looks ridiculous or you're not thinking straight. Let's put it on you because we want some cash, man.
We have a lot of kids that'll come in at 18, and technically, they're adults.
Technically is
They're
the key
adults.
word.
Right.
Because
right.
I've got a daughter right now that's 18, and technically she thinks she's a grown
by
woman.
law,
Didn't I tattoo her?
Yes.
but by law, they can do their own thing, and they're a responsible adult by the definition of our government or whatever. But we'll have 18-year-olds. They'll just turn 18 and come in and want to get a neck or a hand tattoo. And my first thing to them is like, dude, what do you do for work? Like,
okay,
what's
now,
your plans?
but see, listen, I'm looking at you, and you have a tattoo on your neck.
Yep.
So and on your
51.
hand.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you deterring these young kids from getting a hand or neck tattoo?
They have no idea what they're going to do in life.
My
That's
future
a
set,
job stopper.
theirs is not. And that's the key thing to it. Your whole life is laid out for you to be able to achieve so much. And we still live in a society where the uptight white part of the community, the richy uptights, still judge us on a very bad note. And so and with the people out of work the way that it is, you got people with masters looking for work. So if you're a modified individual and you're going for a good job against somebody that's got a master's that's clean cut, good luck, because you're not getting the
you're
job.
losing.
Yeah.
And when
Your
next-
appearance. Because we all judge the book by its cover, no matter
do.
what. That's just the creatures that we are. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is what it is.
So even whenever you say we are all humans that judge a book by a cover, do you,
Yep.
as a heavily tattooed individual, see people and you go,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I know
Even
everything.
when you were saying before that, like you see at the beach that people have good or bad tattoos, and you're making a judgment call. Even if it's so popular that every person on the planet had a tattoo, you're gonna look and see what they have tattooed, the quality of it, and that's a social filter right there. You're like, okay, this person's making horrible decisions in their lives. Look at what you have tattooed on you. I don't want to deal with you. This person over here is something beautiful, and they took their time and dedication.
Put
That's
energy
a
into it.
quality individual.
Yep.
No matter what, it's a social filter.
You can tell a person by their tattoos as to their level of life.
you really can.
Yep.
Mhm.
Sorry. It's just the way it is. If you wear dirty socks, I'm sorry, you're kind of a dirty dude. It's just the way it is.
If you wear dirty socks, you're kind of a dirty dude.
It's just the way it is. Judge a book by its cover. And I get judged all the time. But here's the thing. When I get judged, I get it all the time. And I get a mixed bag of tricks with it. I never get angry.
Because I judged you. When
I
I
never
first
get
walked in
angry.
there to get a removal, I knew Darren because he put them on me. And I was like, I'm going to go in here. I went to Starbucks. And they used to say, Becky. And I'm like, Starbucks at Kroger.
Right.
And I'm like, who's that? And they're like,
My
well,
legal drug dealers. you
yeah.
mean?
Well, they own Unique Ink, and they're really nice. I'm like, well, I'll just go in there. And that was my reference. And so I went in there, and I was like, oh, my God. This guy has got to be like some sort of serial killer. He's so scary
I'm
looking.
pretty close.
Look, it's already been 15 minutes. We have to take a quick break. This is Reality Check. I'm Monica Zukas. I'm talking to Jack and Becky Morton, and they're scary. They're really not. We'll be right back. Stay with us.